Now, to most people, a trip to Hawaii means a relaxing tropical getaway, but to me, it means all that and much more. Hawaii was my first home. I was born in Honolulu, and while my family and I moved over to the US mainland when I was just a few months old, we made multiple visits back to the islands throughout my childhood, so I've always had that connection with my birthplace. My last visit to Hawaii was 2016. 8 years is the longest I've ever been away, so it really means a lot to finally be heading back. Today's journey takes us on a 10-hour voyage from Detroit to Honolulu with Delta Airlines on the Airbus A330-300, a proper long-haul domestic flight. This video will cover the full onboard experience, which unfortunately included a pretty massive inconvenience. I'm really excited to be bringing this video to you all, so I do hope you enjoy it, and with that said, let's head to Hawaii. Good morning from Detroit, where it's just before 7:30 a.m. and after arriving from Indianapolis, I've got 2 hours before my next flight. I'm currently in the McNamara terminal, which spans concourses A, B, and C, and exclusively caters to Delta and its partner airlines. Now, you might not know this, and I actually just found this out, but Concourse A, where I am now, is the second longest airport concourse in the world, behind Osaka Kansai Airport in Japan. It's almost 1 mile in length, and so to make things easier, the concourse has 2 sets of people mover trains that travel from the middle of the concourse to the opposite sides of the building. Now, say what you want about Detroit as a city, but the airport itself is fantastic, having been named the best airport in customer satisfaction by J.D. Power and Associates in 2010, 2019, and 2022. Detroit, along with Minneapolis-St. Paul, are Delta's 2 Midwestern hubs, both of which were inherited from Northwest Airlines following the merger. This morning, we're on Delta Flight 307 to Honolulu departing at 10 a.m., and this is the case for most Hawaii-bound flights from the US mainland. They'll depart in the morning so that they arrive in Hawaii during the afternoon hours. And let me tell you what an incredible feeling it was knowing I was about to finally go back to my first home. Doing the honors this morning is November 826 November Whiskey, one of Delta's younger Airbus A330-300s, and this brings me to a rather interesting point. Despite having NW in the registration, this aircraft never actually flew for Northwest. Delta has a fleet of 31 A330-300s, of which 21 are former Northwest aircraft. The remaining 10 822 to 831 were delivered brand new to Delta years after the merger between 2015 and 2017. So why did Delta keep the NW suffix on these 10 planes? I don't know, but there is one way you can easily tell these aircraft apart. The 21 legacy Northwest A330-300s have Pratt & Whitney 4000 engines, while the 10 legacy Delta examples have General Electric CF6 engines. Boarding began on time, and it always both confuses and amazes me just how many boarding groups we have here in the US. All general main cabin passengers like myself boarded in Group 6. Delta's A330-300 seats 282 passengers, with 34 in Delta One Business Class, 21 in Premium Select, 24 in Comfort Plus, and 203 in Main Cabin. Like most A330s, the economy cabin is laid out in a 2-4-2 configuration, and the seats are comfortable enough. For this 10-hour flight to Hawaii, I'm towards the back of the aircraft in seat 50J. Each seat comes with an in-flight entertainment screen that also has a USB-A port and headphone jack. There's a tray table, the usual 2-seat pocket setup on Delta, and 31 to 32 inches of pitch, which is fine. For these longer flights, Delta does provide blankets in economy class, which are nice, but strangely enough, no pillows. Power outlets are available between seats, but if you're sitting in these 2-seater rows on the sides of the plane, there is only one outlet. And each seat also has a small box for the in-flight entertainment system that might restrict your leg space, but I didn't find it super annoying. In any case, it's so much nicer to have the A330's 2-4-2 setup on longer flights because, at least for the window seat passenger, you only have one person to annoy if you want to get up and stretch your legs.
We'll always be here to welcome you home.
each side. 6 doors have detachable slides that can be used as racks. The 2 smaller doors behind the wings have detachable slides that can be used for flotation. Also need to buckle up for safety. We appreciate your understanding if our service is interrupted.
Federal regulations require all passengers to comply with all crew members' instructions, along with the posted placards and lighted information signs.
Good morning and welcome to all of you, and added welcome to our Sky Mile, our medallion members, and our corporate travelers.
The lunch service began just over an hour into the flight, and there were 2 choices, chicken or pasta. I went with the pasta, and it was served alongside a salad, crackers, and a chocolate brownie with wooden cutlery, and a drink of choice, for which I had water. In terms of taste and quantity, the meal overall was good. I ate everything except for the salad, which I tried but couldn't finish. For long-haul flights, Delta usually displays the menus in the app, though unfortunately, the one for this flight was unavailable. As far as entertainment goes, Delta Studio is really nice with lots of content to keep you entertained. The screens on this flight were pretty responsive and easy to control, and I always appreciate the amount of detailed flight information Delta also provides, especially the 3D map. As you can see at this point, we are flying over Kansas. Earphones for the entertainment system were provided before departure. Now, of course, these are nothing special, but at least the sound quality was alright. Delta normally offers Wi-Fi on board, but I've noticed that at least for the Hawaiian flights, it doesn't tend to work, probably because of our flight path over the Pacific, but I'm not too sure. In any case, I do appreciate Delta sending us emails days beforehand regarding the Wi-Fi being down. Overall, the crew were really nice on this flight. There were multiple times where they would come through the cabin with water, and agricultural forms for entering the state of Hawaii were also distributed. Now, here is probably the worst thing that can probably happen to you in these seats. As you can see, my sister in front has fully reclined, and so one drawback with these entertainment screens is that they're fixed in place so that if the person in front reclines, your viewing angle is going to get distorted. It also does get a little tighter with the seat in front fully reclining, but I'll be honest, I wasn't super uncomfortable. It was about 3 hours into the flight where something really strange happened with everyone's entertainment system. You might have noticed that most of the folders have completely disappeared except for movies and series, but even then the series folder is completely empty. None of the content would play either, and so the crew acknowledged this and said that they would try to reset the system. I was napping on and off throughout the flight. After my second nap, I woke up to see us directly over Los Angeles, just in time to grab some views of downtown LA and Los Angeles International Airport. And these would be our final views of the US mainland, as the next 5 hours would be spent entirely over the Pacific Ocean. Now that I was up from my nap, I checked on the entertainment system. It was mostly reset with all the content showing again, but even when you tried to watch a movie or a show, nothing would load. The screen would just stay black, and this was the same for pretty much everybody on this plane. Although some people did have it worse, like my seat neighbor who wasn't even doing anything, yet her entertainment system was glitching like crazy. Now thankfully, the in-flight map and the games were working fine, so it's not like the entire system was down. However, I could tell that most passengers were frustrated because this is not something you want to experience on a long-haul flight. Shortly after beginning our Pacific crossing, the crew came around with mid-flight snacks. These were a choice of Biscoff cookies or Sun Chips and a choice of drink, for which I took a Diet Coke. Now, with nothing to watch, I basically just napped as much as I could on this flight. I think I got about 4 hours of sleep, which for me is pretty good considering I can't usually sleep on planes. The next time when I woke up, I finally decided to get up and stretch my legs. As usual for flights to Hawaii in December, today's flight was almost completely full. The A330-300 has 6 lavatories for main cabin, 4 of them by row 42 and 2 in the rear galley. There was always a slight wait for the bathrooms, but the one I visited was still pretty clean at this point in the flight. I also totally forgot to cover this earlier, but there aren't any physical reading light or call buttons above the seats. That's because they're directly controlled from the screen, which is cool, but definitely has some drawbacks that I found out the hard way on my return flight a week later. Pre-landing snacks were served about an hour or so before arrival. Drinks were served first, for which I took water, and we had the choice of a chocolate or cheese calzone, and I took the cheese option. Nothing super filling, but still it tasted good, and it was nice to have one more service. And in no time, the Hawaiian Islands appeared on the in-flight map, and the cabin began preparations for landing. It's pretty amazing how even after 10 hours of flying, we're still landing in the same country we departed from. The usual approach for flights coming into Honolulu from the mainland involves first flying over the eastern side of Oahu, downtown Honolulu, and the airport on downwind before again flying over the water. Flights then make a 180 and land from the west, in most cases on runway 8 left.
Cleared for landing. All seat backs and tray tables in their upright position. Please again make sure the aisleway about your feet free to clear baggage. We'll collect any cups, glasses, and service items. Aisle armrest lowered. Thank you.
Not with the broken TV.
Good afternoon. We welcome you to the Honolulu International Airport. It is a few minutes before 3 p.m. We will taxi a few more minutes to our gate. Please stay seated.
My ticket from Indianapolis to Honolulu was $631, which is a really good deal, especially in December, where tickets normally go for over $900 to $1,000. Overall, I was pretty satisfied with today's flight. I mean, the crew and service were great. The flight was on time and the seat was comfortable enough. Yes, the in-flight entertainment system was a huge letdown, and that did ruin the experience just a little bit. But there is a happy ending to that scenario because I ended up submitting a complaint on Delta's website, and just a few hours later was awarded 3,000 bonus miles, which is crazy considering that the flights from Indianapolis to Honolulu and back themselves only earned me 2,710. It felt amazing to finally be off that plane and stepping out into the terminal here in Honolulu. And just to be back here after 8 years, of course I was tired but super grateful. Now, given Hawaii's tropical weather, Honolulu Airport has open air walkways, and after flying in from the cold Midwest, this was a great welcome home. So now that we're in Hawaii, it's only right that I say mahalo for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I have a lot more exciting ones coming soon, so stay tuned. But until I see you next time, take care, stay safe, and aloha.